The ceaseless hum of a bustling American city street often served as a backdrop for countless untold stories. A symphony of hurried footsteps, distant sirens, and the murmur of everyday lives unfolding. On one such ordinary Tuesday, amidst the rhythmic thrum, a lone pedestrian lost in thought chanced upon an anomaly. Embedded crudely into the asphalt, a small handmade tile caught the light. Its surface, rough and uneven, bore a stark, cryptic message. Toynbee idea. The passerby paused, a flicker of confusion crossing their face, then shrugged, dismissing it as some strange, forgotten relic of urban art, and continued on their way. Most others barely registered its presence, their eyes fixed on their destinations. Some scoffed, deeming it nothing more than glorified litter, while a few others harbored a fleeting, mild curiosity before the current of daily life swept them along. Yet this single tile was not an isolated incident. Slowly, subtly, more began to appear. In different cities, across states, the same distinct, almost childlike style emerged. The messages varied slightly, yet always retained a core theme. Toynbee idea, sometimes followed by the baffling command, resurrect dead on planet Jupiter. A silent, persistent mystery was beginning to spread, a mosaic of inexplicable pronouncements etched into the very fabric of the nation's roadways. Among those who encountered these peculiar tiles was Sarah, a young, ambitious journalist whose keen eye for detail was matched only by her unwavering skepticism. Initially, she dismissed the tiles as nothing more than urban blight, perhaps an elaborate prank or the misguided efforts of a fledgling street artist. Her motivation was clear: to expose hoaxes, to peel back the layers of pretense and reveal the mundane truth beneath. She saw the Toynbee tiles as just another fleeting fad, ripe for a debunking article. Far from Sarah's cynical world, in a cluttered apartment overflowing with dusty books and maps lived David, an eccentric, reclusive historian. For years he had been meticulously documenting every known tile, his life consumed by their enigmatic presence. For David, these weren't mere pranks. They were profound messages, a hidden language waiting to be decoded. He believed they held a deep, perhaps even spiritual meaning, a call from an unknown visionary. His fervent belief in their significance often clashed with the dismissive attitudes of those like Sarah, creating an invisible tension between their opposing worlds. Their paths, though not yet converged, were set to collide. As Sarah researched for a critical article intended to expose the tiles as nothing more than an elaborate, meaningless stunt, a peculiar discovery shifted her perspective. She stumbled upon an obscure academic paper discussing a fringe theory about Jupiter and human resurrection, a concept so outlandish yet eerily resonant with the tile's messages. A genuine intrigue began to spark within her, challenging her journalistic detachment. Meanwhile, David's obsession deepened. A new tile had recently been unearthed, not just with text but containing a small, intricate symbol embedded within its crude surface, hinting at a complexity far beyond anything previously seen. He spent days poring over his collected data, cross-referencing locations, dates, and the subtle variations in their design. A pattern began to emerge, faint but undeniable, suggesting a deliberate, intelligent design, not random acts of vandalism. It was too precise, too spread out, too consistent. This was no mere prank. It was a meticulously orchestrated campaign. He needed to share this, to find someone who would listen. He dialed a number he'd found online, a contact for a journalist known for her investigative prowess, and left a cryptic voicemail, his voice laced with urgency. The tiles, they're not random. There's a pattern, a message. We need to talk. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The urgent voicemail, a disembodied plea from a stranger, had finally broken through Sarah's carefully constructed wall of skepticism. Despite her initial reluctance, the sheer conviction in David's voice, coupled with her own unsettling discovery of the Jupiter theory, compelled her to agree to a meeting. Their first encounter was as awkward and strained as one might expect from two individuals so diametrically opposed. Sarah, poised and analytical, studied David, whose disheveled appearance and intense gaze spoke volumes of his singular obsession. Their initial interactions were tense, a dance of veiled judgments and cautious probes, yet beneath the friction, a nascent mutual respect began to form, fueled by their shared, if differently motivated, fascination with the tiles. As they delved deeper, reluctantly collaborating, the mystery began to coalesce around a shadowy figure they dubbed the architect. Their investigation led them down rabbit holes of dusty newspaper clippings, archived forum discussions, and forgotten online communities. Whispers and theories of a lone artist, or perhaps even a collective, responsible for the pervasive tiles, began to paint a fragmented portrait. The sheer scale of the project, spanning cities and decades, suggested an individual of extraordinary dedication, or perhaps profound delusion. During one particularly late night poring over David's meticulously organized archives, he revealed a vulnerability that surprised Sarah. His younger sibling, gone too soon, had possessed an insatiable curiosity about the cosmos and the mysteries of the afterlife. The "resurrect dead on planet Jupiter" message, initially so baffling, held a deeply personal resonance for David. For him, decoding the tiles wasn't just an academic pursuit. It was a desperate search for closure, a silent plea for a sign from a past he couldn't quite let go of. This revelation softened Sarah's journalistic detachment, allowing a sliver of empathy to pierce through her professional armor. Their pursuit of the architect led them to an abandoned workshop on the outskirts of an industrial district, a place that time seemed to have forgotten. Dust motes danced in the sparse shafts of light that pierced the grimy windows, illuminating peculiar tools, strange hand-drawn diagrams tacked to a corkboard, and, most chillingly, a partially finished tile, its cryptic message incomplete. The air hung heavy with the ghost of creation, a palpable sense of a mind at work, driven by an unknown, powerful impulse. Just as they felt they were closing in, a new obstacle emerged. A rival journalist, one who had long viewed Sarah with a mixture of envy and disdain, caught wind of their collaboration. Driven by a desire to sabotage Sarah's potential scoop and claim the story for themselves, they leaked information about Sarah and David's investigation to a major news outlet. The sudden media attention was a double-edged sword. It confirmed the significance of their work, but also put immense pressure on them, threatening to expose their leads and compromise their delicate progress. Feeling a profound sense of responsibility for the leak, Sarah channeled her indignation into renewed determination. She dedicated herself tirelessly to the meticulous task of decoding a recurring motif they had noticed on several tiles. A subtle, almost imperceptible pattern woven into the seemingly random arrangement of letters. It was a cipher, a second layer of meaning hidden in plain sight. Her journalistic skills, honed by years of sifting through disparate facts and connecting seemingly unrelated dots, proved invaluable. She worked through sleepless nights, fueled by coffee and a burning desire for redemption, to unravel the intricate puzzle. During these intense late-night sessions, a quiet understanding began to blossom between Sarah and David. The shared purpose, the intellectual challenge, and the vulnerability they had both shown forged a bond that transcended their initial differences. A subtle admiration grew, a quiet acknowledgement of each other's strengths. It was not overtly romantic, but an undeniable connection, a shared intimacy born of shared struggle and discovery. Finally, after countless hours of painstaking effort, the cipher yielded its secret. The decoded message was not another cryptic pronouncement, but a precise set of coordinates pointing to a specific date and location, a significant landmark in the heart of the city. A thrill, a mix of apprehension and exhilaration, coursed through them. The architect's grand design was about to be revealed. As they hastily gathered their notes, preparing to rush to the landmark, a flicker in their periphery, a dark sedan idling suspiciously down the street, caught Sarah's eye. They were being followed. The game, it seemed, was far from over. The dark sedan, a predatory shadow in the urban landscape, accelerated, its engine a low growl against the night's hush. Sarah and David exchanged a look of grim determination, their unspoken fears confirmed. This was no longer just an intellectual pursuit. It was a race against an unseen adversary. David swerved their car into a narrow alley, tires squealing in protest, the sudden maneuver momentarily shaking off their pursuer. Adrenaline coursed through them, sharpening their senses. They knew who it was, the rival journalist, desperate to snatch their hard-won discovery. A high-stakes chase ensued through the labyrinthine city streets, a frantic dance of evasive turns and daring shortcuts, each moment bringing them closer to, or further from, their destination. Finally, with a burst of speed and a final, desperate turn, they shook off the tail, leaving the rival journalist fuming in their rearview mirror, momentarily defeated. They arrived at the landmark, a grand neoclassical building bathed in the pale glow of streetlights, just as dawn began to paint the sky with streaks of orange and purple. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain. There, hunched over a section of the pavement near the building's entrance, was a figure. An elderly, frail individual, their movements slow but deliberate, meticulously working on something embedded in the asphalt. The architect. The revelation was both anticlimactic and profoundly moving. This wasn't a shadowy collective, but a solitary soul, pouring their life's work into the very fabric of the city. As they approached, the architect, a woman with kind, weary eyes and hands stained with grout, looked up, her expression one of quiet resignation, not surprise. She was Harriet, as they would later learn from her well-worn journal, a recluse driven by a profound sense of isolation and an unwavering belief in humanity's potential. Her story, pieced together from her writings and the few words she shared, was one of a brilliant mind burdened by the perceived fragility of human existence. She had lost faith in traditional methods of communication, feeling that grand pronouncements were fleeting. Instead, she chose the enduring medium of the street, to leave a lasting message about the hope for a resurrection of ideas, a rekindling of human spirit, not just bodies, on a new frontier. She believed that even if humanity failed on Earth, its core essence, its dreams and aspirations, could transcend, could be resurrected in the vastness of space. For David, the encounter was a profound catharsis. He saw not a madwoman, but a fellow traveler, one who understood the yearning for meaning beyond the tangible. The "resurrect dead on planet Jupiter" message, once a literal, almost unsettling phrase, now resonated with a deeper, more symbolic truth. It wasn't about bringing back bodies, but about the enduring legacy of thought, the possibility of human ideas finding new life, new purpose, even in the cold vacuum of space. He mourned his sibling anew, but this time, a strange sense of peace settled over him, laced with a new purpose. To ensure Harriet's message, this quiet symphony of hope, was not forgotten. Sarah, the ever-skeptical journalist, found herself utterly disarmed. Her cynicism, once her most trusted shield, crumbled in the face of Harriet's unwavering conviction and the quiet power of her art. She realized the profound impact of belief, even in the most unconventional forms, and the inherent human need to connect, to leave a mark. Her professional detachment dissolved, replaced by a profound empathy for Harriet and the universal yearning she represented. The tiles were not just urban art or a bizarre prank. They were a testament to the human spirit's resilience, its capacity for hope, and its relentless pursuit of meaning. The final tile Harriet had been working on was unlike any other they had seen. It wasn't just cryptic text, but a complex, beautiful mosaic. It depicted a stylized human figure reaching towards a distant star, surrounded by swirling galaxies and tiny, intricate symbols representing knowledge, connection, and rebirth. It was a visual poem, a grand culmination of Harriet's life's work, a silent, enduring testament to humanity's journey and its boundless aspirations. In the aftermath, Sarah wrote the most impactful article of her career. It wasn't a sensational exposé, but a deeply moving narrative that peeled back the layers of the Toynbee tile mystery, revealing not a madman, but a brilliant, troubled visionary, and a profound message of hope. The article resonated deeply, sparking conversations across the nation about art, meaning, and the human condition. David, in turn, dedicated himself to preserving the legacy of the tiles, cataloging them, studying their placements, and ensuring Harriet's quiet voice continued to echo through the city streets. The Toynbee Tiles remained a mystery to many, an unsolved urban enigma. But for Sarah and David, they represented a journey of profound discovery, a forging of an unexpected connection, and a powerful testament to the enduring power of hope. They often walked the city streets together, hand in hand, no longer chasing a mystery but simply observing, understanding. Stopping before a newly placed tile, perhaps one of Harriet's last, they looked at it with a shared sense of wonder and a quiet understanding that transcended words, their own lives forever intertwined by the silent messages beneath their feet.